Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Corner to Corner Road Show AWE edition.
AWE.
Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, live from Waynesboro High School. Today is May 6th. It's about 11:30 in the evening. We're leaving the Waynesboro area. It's myself, Stan Grubb, and of course, two-thirds of the triple threat, myself and, of course, Rob Hefner.
What is up, people?
So, as you will probably come upon, this will be a special, exclusive download edition of Corner to Corner. So we'll have this ready for you probably this evening once we get home. So, Rob...
If we get home.
Yeah, right. So, AWE, Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, we first saw AWE in 2011. Where there was a pay-per-view called Night of the Legends. Many people would remember the promoter of said event as Marvin Ward. However, a couple years down the road, Mr. Ward holds an AWE show, has a little bit of trouble financially. We don't really know the whole story for it, so I don't want to say it's all his fault. We just know what the rumor was. But anyway, so we hadn't seen or heard from him. Next thing you know, AWE comes back, and that's now 2017, and he's going as Doug Ward. For the record, I don't know what his real first name is, but it doesn't matter. AWE back in Waynesboro, back in the Central Virginia area. Yeah, Central Virginia. Spotlighted by AWE crowning its World Heavyweight Champion. First ever. And World Tag Team Champions. First, that's right. So let's talk a little bit about the experience before the event, Rob. We get to the show at, 5 o'clock?
Right.
Now, this is, and we're going to kind of do our pros and cons, but this is the one thing that bothered me when we first get there. Doors are supposed to open at 5 o'clock. We're there at 4:50. Plenty of time. And the doors aren't open at 5.
And the doors are supposed to open at 5 for VIP ringside guests.
Correct.
If you bought a ringside ticket, you were supposed to be VIP.
Right. So the doors don't open at 5:15. They don't open at 5:30.
And right now we're all in a big line.
And fans are starting to lose their patience, as you can imagine, after it's been a half hour waiting to get in the damn building. Finally, we get in. I'm guessing was a quarter to 6.
Yep.
Which, once we get inside, it's, there's the normal bottleneck effect where you're trying to disperse and spread out. And we get into what I would guess is kind of their convention area, also known as Waynesboro High School's cafeteria.
You all have a weird cafeteria at Waynesboro High School.
Yeah, what's the deal with that front area there? Like this front little section of empty space. I guess
is that like where the cool kids hang out?
No, that's probably where the detention and study hall kids sit at. You're in ISS. Hey, guess what? You can just
we're going to put you in this glass room, and all your friends can walk by and see you.
It's a damn people aquarium. So, this was cool. We got to meet Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Barry Windham.
Woo!
And
I don't know why I did that.
Magnum TA.
Magnum Terry Allen.
That's right. Which was really cool. Ron Simmons, very approachable. I got to talk to him about telling him that the title he won is my favorite title, and the victory he had is probably my favorite one, as he put it, because it meant something. And damn right it did, Ron. And thank you so much for letting us spend a couple minutes and chop it up with you. Rob got to get an autograph. Rob was kind enough to purchase me an autograph. And then we met Barry Windham, which was nice. Rob, didn't he say much to you? I really didn't hear anything.
He didn't talk a whole lot.
Well, it's no different from the show, because he didn't say a whole lot either.
Right. I mean, I understand what they had going on. I guess I was under the wrong impression. I had read somewhere that if you got a VIP ringside seat, that it included a guaranteed autograph from the stars that were there. Maybe, like you had said earlier, maybe I got it confused with the MAWE event down in Richmond.
Well, I still think it's possible that they changed it last minute. We just didn't know. Right. I mean, I'm not certain.
Because I was a little taken back when I got in and I saw that everybody had price tags, and I'm like,
right.
Like, I thought this was free. Because what I did, like, you know, some people won't. I'm nodding my head at the phone like an idiot. You see this right here? No. I had procured me a Magnum TA action figure.
Yeah, man.
And
not bunches of them. One.
No, yeah, one. Not bunches, jerk.
That he's going to keep and not sell on eBay.
Right.
Jerk.
And so I went up and asked, like, Magnum TA. It was like, how much for him to autograph the... Because I saw where it said autographs, pictures,
right.
$10. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, $10, I could do that. And then the lady beside him, his handler, goes, $20.
Right.
And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I brought this figure all this way, but the autograph's going to cost more than the damn figure.
Which brings us to an interesting point. And for a lot of wrestling fans, especially ones that are honestly just counting their pennies, this is the toughest part of being a fan. So you go to a convention, like when we went to Charlotte, I'll be honest, I went all out. I spent probably more money than I should have. But I wanted the experience. I wanted the whole deal. And so did all of us.
Right.
So we did that. But you get to an event like this, it wasn't a last-minute plan. But at the same time, we were under the impression there were certain things were actually included in the ticket.
Right. I thought at the most I'd be buying a $5 picture.
Right.
You know, to go with my autograph.
So it's got absolutely nothing to do with the want or the lack thereof to see a talent, because we love Magnum TA, we love Barry Windham, we love Ron Simmons, and we were happy, cash in hand, to pay for an opportunity. However, it was not as advertised. In other words, this wasn't told that, hey, they're going to charge each table for photos, autographs, and everything. And that, by the way, was not listed on the website. And AWE, you should probably double check how you list that in the future. There again, I mean, Rob was kind enough to pay for my autograph, so that I didn't really feel it as much. But at the same time, truth of the matter is, Rob, you're in an awkward spot. You know,
right.
Magnum TA is sitting in front of you, and he's not wanting to make you unhappy. And kudos to him, by the way, for saying, hey, listen, you know, let's do this, which was very cool.
Right. And what he did was he said, all right, what we'll do is I'll sign your figure, and you can have a picture with me, and we'll make it an even 20.
Right.
Because the picture with him is 20.
Right. The picture with him by itself was $20. The autograph by itself was $10. So technically it would have been $30. He knocked $10 off, which he didn't have to do.
Right.
And he talked to you. He was nice. He was polite. He talked to you. Where'd you get the figure? You know. And he asked. He wasn't just saying, oh, that's really cool, thanks for bringing that by. It was, hey, did you find that at a Target? I mean, it was very cordial.
Right. And I explained to him how, you know, Brian, the other part of the triple threat that unfortunately wasn't able to come with us, had bought his at Target, and that made me want to look for it. And my wife got tired of going to Target, so she just bought one on Amazon. And then it came all tore up. Or as I said, what did I say to him? All tore to hell?
Yeah, I'll beat to hell. I'll beat to hell.
And he was very displeased about that, but then I got another one. Well, anyway.
Hey, but he was engaged with what you were saying.
Right. Barry Windham said, hi, bud. Thanks.
With Barry Windham, health-wise, I mean, he looked okay this evening.
Right.
But I don't know that he's ever really a big talker anyway.
Well, he's never really been, except promos. But, like, the thing about the money that kind of got me was, after that, I didn't have, like, the cash that I had brought. We
didn't have money for food.
I didn't have any money for food. I didn't have money for, like, Kid Cash or anybody else.
Or Jamin.
Or Jamin Olivencia. Who, folks, we're hoping to get him on the corner-to-corner radio show.
Yes.
In upcoming days.
We talked to Jamin during the meet and greet, and he told me just to hit him up. So, folks, I'm happy to say that in the coming weeks, we just got to figure out the exact time for him, we'll be having the AWE World Heavyweight Champion himself, Jamin Olivencia, who sold a coat to a fan. This was pretty funny. So we get to Jamin's table, we're talking to him, and here's one of the cool things about Jamin Olivencia. I interviewed Jamin in 2011, right after we went to the AWE show then. We interviewed him on this very ring. It was myself and Mike Prunka. And I talked to him a couple minutes, and if he sold it well, then he sold it damn well because he remembered. And I thought that was really cool. We talked to him, and then he's selling one of his ring coats, his ring gear, and it's worn. I mean, you know that he's worn this to the ring. Fan walks up to the table. Now, he was asking $50. I get the feeling, and Rob, you mentioned this too, that maybe this was not necessarily something he had ordered.
Well, I also know that the fan that it came up and was interested in the coat was a special
needs. Yeah, and
special needs guy, and he showed very interest in it. And so he looked to the guy who was there with him and said, "How much money do I have?" And that guy, being a good Samaritan, good person and watching the guy's money, told him he had $20.
Right.
And so Jamin told him, "You know what? If you buy it right now, I'll give it to you for $20, but you got to wear it."
Yep. And that just speaks volumes for the kind of guy that Jamin is, and for the character of Jamin Olivencia. Because, I mean, he was asking $50 for it, and honestly, for ring gear, for selling ring-worn gear, that's actually pretty inexpensive as it is. But he had said he was looking to part with it, and for him to accommodate a fan that way is tremendous. And we also had a good conversation with Samantha Evans.
Right. Queens of Combat.
That's right. We had seen her first at Queens of Combat in Charlotte this past summer. And she was very nice, very talkative. We talked about the women's revolution going on right now and how women's wrestling is coming up finally after years and years of maybe WWE beating it to death. Who else did we come into contact with, Rob? C.W. Anderson.
Yep, C.W. Anderson. We talked to him for a little while. And he talked about the belt that he had. He has a world title from somewhere.
Pro Wrestling International. And that was a heavy belt, and it was a nice looking belt. But we talked to him about, I'd hate to have to check that into baggage on an airline. And he said so far he hadn't necessarily run into a problem with it, but he had a few shows coming up that he wasn't looking forward to having to check it, but he thinks he might have to because of the weight. So hopefully he is able to keep it with him.
Well, that's when he said that maybe I'll just have to wear it when I walk through, and it'll be my carry-on. And that's when I told him, hey, when you're walking through the airport and somebody still looks at your belt, just start twitching your eye a little bit and act like you're having one of those episodes. And he looks at me and he's like, nobody's going to mess with the man that's twitching wearing a wrestling belt in the airport. And he goes, you're right.
I think that's what he said. The thing basically he says, that's how I want it or something like that.
Oh.
Let's see here. We did, we saw Kid Cash. We didn't get a chance really to talk to him.
He had a cool shirt on.
Yeah,
he had a shirt on that was, it was Arrow Club instead of the Bullet Club.
Yeah. Nice little spin on that. It had kind of a Native American vibe to it, I think. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. It was really crowded in the main concourse area, the main hallway area of the cafeteria. So you could tell that the cafeteria itself was a lot bigger, and honestly, they could have set it up a little bit differently so that the crowd wasn't so packed in.
I would have put the big guys in the back.
Yes.
I would have put the big guys in the back because then you're forced to walk through the local guys and stuff.
Right.
And you're more likely going to buy something. Because if you're standing in a long line and you're standing in front of the Ugly Ducklings table and listening to them, you're eventually going to buy something because you're like, these guys are cool.
Yeah, they are. Here's the thing that bothered me about the merch. None of them took check cards or debit cards or credit cards.
The Ugly Ducklings said they did, but...
Well, they probably did. I didn't see anybody with a card swipe except for RF Video, Rob Feinstein, who... Here's a question. And maybe Mr. Ward one day will answer this for us. So you know that you've got a sex offender in your midst that sells merch. So, depending on who you believe and who you talk to in the industry, Doug Ward has questionable reputation. That's what I've heard. Do I know the guy personally? No. Do I know if it's legitimate? No, I don't. But here's the situation. So selling the bulk of your merchandise is, and I will say bulk because he had a huge setup inside the area, is Rob Feinstein, a.k.a. RF Video. Well, many in the Northeast area knows that he was busted for attempted, those Chris Hansen type things, you never truly know, but basically for soliciting a minor. So here's the kick to that. Because people know that, most times, RF Video, you won't see them anywhere near a wrestling show. However, 2011, AWE has Feinstein there for that event. Fast forward to today, he was there for this event, selling quite a bit of merchandise and taking credit cards, by the way. He had DVDs. He had a lot of autographed memorabilia, which was pretty cool, actually.
AJ Styles gloves.
Those
ring bells.
Yeah, I mean, the gloves were cool, but I would have liked them, but I'm not paying $175 for autograph AJ Styles gloves. That's expensive.
Right. Well, then what are you going to do with them?
They don't want none?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna display them, you got to frame them.
Right.
You know, so that's going to be cost. You know? Or you can be like me and just buy the 8x10 photo, get them to sign it, and go to the dollar store and put a frame on. Bam!
Ding!
$11. Holla!
But, I mean, overall, the meet and greet experience was fun. It was crowded, but it was fun.
Right, but everybody, all the stars that were currently there were there and available.
And very approachable. Even the ones like Simmons, Wyndham, and Magnum TA, their lines were huge, but they were very approachable and very polite.
You're going to be that guy, aren't you?
Rob is behind the wheel of our edition of Corner to Corner Roadshow.
And this guy I'm getting ready to pass just turns his brights on.
He wants to make sure
That's a special. Oh, look, he's nice. He takes them off. But anyway,
so let's do the rundown of the show.
Let's say like the layout of the meet and greets was okay.
Right.
I'd like you said, more space because you felt like when we got in there, it looked like everybody was in line for Ron Simmons, and there was nobody in front of Magnum. There's nobody in front of Barry Windham. And everybody's in front of Ron. Well, that's fine, but if you don't want Ron and you just wanted Barry, you're still stuck in Ron's line.
So you go from that line to Barry Windham. You just basically went in a circle.
Right.
I know what their goal was. Their goal was to make sure that everybody stopped at each person.
Right. Hornswoggle hadn't gotten there yet.
Right.
But he made up for it later by being out later when everybody else was like, peace, I'm out. The access to the seats, the arena setup was fine.
Seats were good.
We had some questions about like the numbering of the seats because our seats were row 2 and seats 94, 95.
Yep.
But what we found out was
those were the seats we took. It was actually 95 and 96.
Right. Well, you get there. We get to our seats. Yeah. We are sitting second row. There's only one row in front of us, and there's the ring. We're right there on what WWE would call TV side.
Yeah, hard camera side.
You know, we're on the hard camera side. So they were recording this. So if you buy it, there we are.
You'll see us all the time.
And some people didn't show up around us. So instead of sitting right next to each other, we spread out.
Yeah, we had some room.
Gave room to the people sitting next to us. And I thought the arena setup was good. I thought the music was okay.
Hey, they at least had actual music this time. Last time AWE did a show, all of their music was generic. However, because they were on pay-per-view last time, that's probably why.
Well, and I will say that this layout was a lot better than the
Fishersville. Yeah, very much so.
Like it actually felt like a wrestling show. There, it felt like we're doing something that we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, it was a lot better organized this time around, even though the doors open late. To be honest with you, that's pretty forgivable because of the fact that once we got in there, everything was really freely accessible.
Right. The doors open late, and you know how it is when you're dealing with different talent, different things. Because, look, Hornswoggle wasn't even there yet.
No,
So,
he didn't show up until like right before the event, right before the matches.
Had some other people that were there.
The Ugly Ducklings were there. They were tremendous in the ring. I was blown away. I've only seen a little bit of them before on Flow Slam, but it wasn't enough to really judge if they were any good. Tonight sure sold that.
They were amazing.
Yeah, they were. So let's do a rundown of the card. So we had Hornswoggle versus
Some fat guy.
big fat dude who just kept talking.
Now, I will say, that guy was like your typical 80s heel.
Yes, very much so.
He came out and he told everybody that if they root for the good guy, he's going to come punch them all in the face.
Yep.
He was flamboyant. He had that, like, I'm a pretty boy or whatever. But then he was like, leave me alone.
Right. Hornswoggle came out, so he made it just in time to open the show. Well, actually, the open of the show actually was a bit of a cluster. The ring announcer announcing the area, forgetting his lines, looking through his cards, and then he finally gets people, gets it going. The commissioner of AWE comes out, who didn't do a damn thing for the rest of the night, so I don't know what he's a commissioner of exactly.
Then they brought out Big Daddy Ward.
Yep, Big Daddy Ward saying hello.
He came out and introduced things, and then they brought out
Jamin. No, they brought out that interviewer lady.
They brought a girl out to be an interviewer. And I know what they're doing because they're relaunching AWE as a brand.
Right.
I think what they're doing is they're trying to establish personalities and responsibilities. So going forward, people see these and they recognize, all right, that's the interviewer girl backstage that on WWE would say, my guest at this time is the wall. But I agree, the general manager, or whatever they call him, it was weird. And then they had who came out first?
It was Jamin Olivencia comes out first. Olivencia is talking about, how he's looking forward to winning the title. In the midst of talking, no, I'm sorry. The interviewer asks him if he would give a poem to the crowd. So apparently Olivencia is a poet as well.
He didn't know it. I didn't know it.
See what we did there? So in the midst of
rhyme all the time.
Got a reason for every season.
What?
If you will.
Oh.
So in the middle of his poem, C.W. Anderson interrupts, who, let me just point out, I can't say enough about C.W. Anderson. We had a conversation with somebody outside who later ended up being his merch guy, which is kind of funny. Anyway, about how C.W. Anderson was greatly underutilized and underappreciated in the time that he was signed to WWE CW, when they did the relaunch. And I still stand by the fact that I think he could be a main player for any promotion that's out there. Anyhow, he interrupts, and then I don't remember the guy's actual name, but everybody kept calling him Mufasa. And they commenced to putting a beat down on Jamin Olivencia. So Olivencia gets his leg knocked out from under him, and it looks like he's hurt. They're going to pull him from the match. Sanjay Dutt makes the save, runs off the
Sanjay Dutt!
Who also was at the meet and greet. Yet again, very approachable. I gotta say that his eye looked a lot better. Still had a big old shiner there, but
Sanjay's becoming he's becoming a good, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because we talked to him about Nova Pro, and he was excited about Nova Pro, and he was going to be there the next match, and
he was sorry that he missed the Commonwealth Cup.
Right, but when you sign a deal with Impact, you kind of can't be there.
True that. So he's going to be at the next one, and he's going to be taking on Jimmy Rave. Wrestle Rage fans will remember we had an interview with him. Jimmy Rave is really doing well at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment.
Ooh,
yeah.
Eddie.
Battle of the AWEs. So Sanjay versus Jimmy Rave at Nova Pro. Look for that. Buy a ticket now because that's going to be an awesome matchup. So Sanjay's inserted into the main event. Jamin apparently is out. It's Sanjay, C.W. Anderson, and Mufasa.
And a triple threat.
Right. Elimination style triple threat.
Well, yeah, which wasn't told, but good idea.
Yeah, it was a smart move because it kept the match going.
The next thing was the first match of the evening was
Hornswoggle versus the nameless fat guy.
Right, and Hornswoggle did what Hornswoggle does,
and he was entertaining. Actually,
this is actually the first time. No offense, that I actually enjoyed watching Hornswoggle.
You know, with midget matches, it's always one of those take 'em or leave 'em matches.
Not supposed to say that word.
Well, I will go on record as I have said that before, and I was corrected by who was the guy? I want to say Short Sleeve Samson. Don't call them little people. They don't make money as little people. They make money as midgets. That's what I was told. Look, if I'm in a work setting, I'm not calling them nothing except Bob, Steve, or Sally, whatever the names are. But the bottom line here is they don't want to be called midgets in those types of situations. But in the professional wrestling industry, midgets is alright. Only in that industry and only in that reference. Might I put that out there? But I was impressed. And Swoggle was approachable as well to fans. The kids were going nuts for Hornswoggle.
Well, he played up to the fans. He played up to the kids, which he does. He did what any performer...
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, he knew if he came out and related to those fans, who's going to come get an autograph at halftime?
And here's the thing with a guy like Swoggle, because of that WWE touch that he's got, he understands and he knows how to integrate the psychology of wrestling.
And I would go on record to say that's probably one of the biggest things that wrestlers get, or talent gets, from their time in the WWE.
Yes.
Is they learn from the marketing machine.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't hurt that if you for one day, you stepped your foot in a WWE ring, for the rest of your life, you can call yourself WWE, former WWE wrestler of superstar. You know?
Preach, my brother. Testify.
So, you know, that's what you see. And so then that was on. Hornswoggle got the victory. Funny. Laughed.
Yep.
And the next match was...
Next match, I believe, was Kid Cash versus...
Yes, Kid Cash versus Double Dribble.
Doug Delicious. Double Dribble.
Nuts.
Daredevil. Double D. Whatever the hell. Doug Delicious. I think he was actually Doug Grubb, by the way. I think that's who that was supposed to be. So we're at the convention, the meet and greet before, and there's a sign that just says Doug Grubb. Nobody at the table. Nobody doing nothing.
And I go, Stan, your cousin's here. He's like, no.
Ain't no relation to me. And for the record, if I was that big and muscular and all that, I would definitely be a pro wrestler. That's for sure.
But you had Kid Cash versus Doug Delicious, or whatever his name is.
Dandelion Doug. Which actually was a decent matchup.
Dainty Doug.
Dainty Doug.
Dainty Doug.
He was dainty.
But I learned something tonight that I didn't know before.
What's that?
I had no idea that Kid Cash was from Waynesboro, Virginia.
Me neither. Came out of retirement specifically for tonight to wrestle one more match in his hometown. And let's just say this, Kid Cash is well respected and loved in Waynesboro. That was a good reaction.
And something that I had missed and I almost had forgotten about was good, as they say, chain wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, yes. Kid Cash had a move that went into another move, that went into another hold, that went into another move, and it was just like this seamless thing.
Yeah, seamless transition of holds that just was very impressive. Just proving yet again why Kid Cash is a hot commodity. And honestly, at 47 years of age, he worked just as good as some of the people we see on 205 Live.
And I think that if he looked like he had he was having a shoulder problem.
He did. I think he tweaked his shoulder at the beginning.
But he still had the big moves. He still had the different things.
Yeah.
His mom was there, his sister, his daughter.
Yeah, he had his family in attendance in the front row they were emotional.
One thing that I loved is, in one time he got Doug Derringer, or whatever his name is.
Dainty Doug.
Dainty Doug.
Dainty Doug. He was dainty.
Delicious Doug. No,
oh my goodness. Oh my.
Kid Cash was going to him on the outside of the ring, and he picked up that chair.
Yeah.
And now the chair, the ringside chairs are not your typical folding chairs, okay?
No, these were like the old school chairs that you take the Scantron test in.
we found where the cafeteria chairs went.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they took
That's
the cafeteria chairs and put them, because they're nice, but they're not. Hey, let's sit here for an hour before the damn show starts. Nice.
Right.
But the best part wasn't when he threw the chair on Dainty, whatever his name is.
Dainty Doug.
Douchey Doug or whatever.
Douchey Doug. Douchey Doug. Douchey.
And we kid in fun. All right.
He actually did pretty good.
Double D, whatever your name is.
Delicious.
But the best part was when he threw that chair on Doug, Cash's mom stood up going, "That's my baby."
That was, you know what? He was on the opposite end. On the opposite end when he was thrown out and it right up against the rail. She saw him hit the ground and she was on her feet, ready to jump that rail. This woman, she's got to be in her 80s. And she was ready to jump that rail and go mess up Dandy Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Dainty Doug.
She was like, "Not my baby."
But it was, you know what? It was an emotional night for him. Emotional to hang out with. Sorry. It's emotional to say the least. He got to give a kind of a hail and farewell, which was well deserved. And
I mean, his speech was one of those that, hey, if you don't let where you're from kind of limit to what you want to do.
Right. Don't let where you're at limit to where you want to be.
Right. Sometimes you have to leave where you are to achieve your dreams. It was good.
Although, Rob, you made a good point. We weren't sure if it was really leave this town to be where you want to be, or sometimes you got to work hard to achieve your goals. I mean,
if you're going to be in this town, you can't do shit.
But Kid Cash wins with the Brain Buster, which was awesome, and delivered well. And let me just point out that Doug Delicious sold it very well.
And he wasn't understated. He didn't know that it was going to take this long for Kid Cash. He didn't realize the reception Kid Cash was going to get.
Right.
So then he had the awkward moment of, all right, do I keep laying here?
He did, because you notice he was looking up at the ref like, what's going on?
Yeah, like, can I get out now? But
they did it right. They had other refs come out there. They had him checked. They just sold it like he had just gotten his neck broke, which, he walked out, by the way, so he's okay.
Next match was the tag match, right?
Let's see here. Next matchup was the Tag Team Championship for AWE. It was the Ugly Ducklings versus Phil Brown and Timmy Lou Retton. PWI 500 featured Timmy Lou Retton in a tag match that, in my opinion, stole the show.
It was a great match, even with their weird manager.
Yeah, what? Who the hell was this guy? I don't know what your name is, manager of Phil Brown and Timmy Lou Retton, but you were really just annoying. And, I can tell you've been in wrestling for a long time, and I give you props for that.
He worked the crowd like a champ.
Yes, but I don't know what your name is. So.
And he wouldn't have stuck out as much, I don't think, if there were more managers.
Yeah,
on the card,
but that was okay because the fact
somebody's got the walk of shame,
because of the fact that he was the he was the only real manager out there. He stood out, so it was okay.
Come on, we're coming through this town and it's midnight, and there's a girl walking down the street from the bar. She's taking the walk of shame. She had her head down, clutching her coat.
Yep. I don't want to be out here.
You didn't want to go home with me.
But the Ugly Ducklings were tremendous. Again, I was really blown away by how fast they were, how interactive they were with the crowd. The kids loved them. The adults loved them.
It reminded me of the Carnies.
Yeah.
It reminded me they had this cult following like the Carnies when we were in Nova Pro. But they just, and it was constant. Like those two guys, like what they put their bodies through day in and day out.
Yeah.
All over the country, like
it was
wow.
Amazing. It was amazing, and we got to give props to Phil Brown and Timmy Lou Retton because they were good too.
And Phil Brown or Timmy Lou Retton had the broken arm.
Yeah, we kept asking him if we could sign his cast, but he wouldn't look at us. We tried, Brian. We tried to distract, but it just wasn't as effective as when the complete triple threat's in the house.
We didn't have that baritone voice.
Yeah, you need that.
Hey, you.
Aw. Let's see.
My name Brian.
Then we had the awkward moment where they did the intermission that wasn't supposed to be intermission yet.
Well, and then it looked like they surprised Ron Simmons. They had Ron Simmons come out and do a speech.
Right.
Well, it was intermission, and then wait a minute, Marvin Ward comes out and brings out Ron Simmons. So everybody's up, getting ready to go out and get a hot dog, and they're like, "Oh shit, Ron Simmons wants to talk." So Ron Simmons talks, and then Ron Simmons is getting out of the ring, and then they go, "Oh, by the way,
here's some photo opportunities for you.
We're gonna do a photo op, $10 for a picture with Ron Simmons."
In the ring, which actually was cool, but it didn't look like he was aware that was going to happen.
With his Hall of Fame ring and the WCW World Title.
That would be...
Which was actually the WCW Tag Team title.
Ring announcer.
And no offense, I don't think that's the one Ron Simmons won when he was part of Doom. They had a different one.
No, it was the NWA Tag Champs at that point. And here's the other thing. Barry Windham comes out, and I wouldn't really say it was a segment because maybe it lasted a minute. But the interviewer comes out, tries to interview Barry Windham, and he says, yeah, great night of action. How about Hornswoggle? What a matchup. Yeah, more to come. See ya. And that was it. That was the Barry Windham moment of the night. Way to go, Barry. Magnum TA probably saw that and said, yeah, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, Magnum's like, bullshit. And then you had the intermission, which was fine.
Yeah. Although, 10 minutes is short for an intermission.
I mean, my thing about the intermission was it felt like the show started later than it should have.
And it ended sooner than it should have.
So I was like, but with anything, like even when you go to Broadway or anything like that, like the first part is always long, and then you have the intermission, and then before you know it, it's time to get up and go.
Very true. Very true.
Because the guy was talking about how we have all this action-packed stuff for you. We have this action-packed. Oh, we got a whole nother action-pack full of wrestling.
2 matches left.
2 matches. Seriously? I don't know what he thinks of action-packed, but
2 of the greatest matches in the history of our... Oh, sorry, Mr. Schiavone. That's not how it went down.
The history of our
So we had the ladies' match where we had Casey Carlisle, Savannah Evans, and Danny Ferrara. I think that was her name. Anyway, she was actually okay. She was pretty good. Decent triple threat between the 3.
To me, my issue was it seemed like part of it was phoned in.
Yeah, it's funny because we had a conversation with Savannah Evans about awkward moments where you're just like waiting and waiting for a spot to happen, and finally when it does, it seemed like it took forever and then it looks awkward. Well, sure enough, Savannah Evans has that spot where she's sitting there and she's waiting and waiting. A couple kids go get a hot dog, still waiting, and finally Ferrara decides that she's going to hit a kick and in the awkward moment. But it is kind of ironic that we had that conversation with her and that happened.
Right, and then the other girl inside, it was just, it was a good match. I think, in my opinion, there should have been either 2 women matches.
Right.
Or 4 people in that match. Pardon me. It's midnight. I'm tired. And then, but it was okay. And the winner of that match, I think it was Danny
Ferrara. Wins with a famous server that was huge.
She also stuck around at the end.
Yeah.
And was allowing fans to take pictures with her without charging them.
Which was nice.
A couple people went up and was like, hey, can I get a picture? She's like, sure. And that leaves us to the main event. It's the triple threat of Sanjay Dutt versus
Mufasa
versus C.W. Anderson. Elimination style. And I will say that Sanjay Dutt took 2 hellacious face bumps with his mask on. Because C.W. Anderson smacked him in the face on that with that and his and it actually busted the strap.
Yeah, the face mask went sideways.
And then he kicks him in the face, and it takes the thing sideways again.
Yeah.
And then Mufasa comes in. They do the classic double team. And surprisingly, the first one eliminated was
Sanjay Dutt.
Sanjay Dutt.
Which was interesting because it really threw you for a loop, because now you don't know for sure. You don't know that Jamin's coming back out to the ring yet. And now you've got the two bad guys. You got Mufasa, who I promise we will learn his name at some point, and C.W. Anderson, and seemingly one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And then before we could really get into that, the music cues up and limps Jamin Olivencia, who ultimately sells the knee throughout, which was great. Turns the tables on both C.W. Anderson and Mufasa, runs the two of them into each other, has C.W. Anderson pinned, eliminates him, and then eliminates Mufasa.
He eliminates Mufasa with the help of... Mufasa was going to grab... He went to grab the title, the AWE World title.
Yes.
And was getting ready to hit him with it. Ron Simmons sees that, comes out, takes the belt from him. Olivencia hits the finisher.
Which is this leaping DDT, which was nice.
And then right there in the middle of the ring...
1, 2, 3, baby. Jamin Olivencia, AWE World Heavyweight Champion.
First time ever.
Which was awesome.
AWE World Champion.
And we're going to be talking to him live on Corner to Corner in the coming weeks. We're going to set it up and get it scheduled, but we are excited to announce that Jamin Olivencia, AWE World Heavyweight Champion, will be joining Corner to Corner very soon.
And he hung around at the end and let people take pictures of him, and you'll see those if you go to our Facebook page and our website. You will see some uploaded photos in the upcoming days of our adventures at AWE.
That's right.
All in all, like we always do, going around the horn, I would give AWE this time a solid C.
You know what? As the one who came in with the most preconceived notions about what to expect from tonight, I'm going to go ahead and give him a B-. I think the talent was good. The announcer kind of sucked, and it did seem to me like Ward was trying to make it all about himself, even though this is supposed to be a charity event, which was for UVA's Children's Cancer Research Center. I don't know what the number is of what they donated, but we'll find that out in the coming days. B- because of the talent and the matchups that we saw. I think we're pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the lowest point of the night, the lowest thing of the night was sloppy ref.
Yeah, there's just... And we didn't...
He only reffed one match.
The tag title match, yeah.
It had to be the best title of the match of the night. Ref comes out, shirt's untucked.
Wearing a ball cap backwards.
Wearing a Philadelphia Eagles hat backwards with a dip in his mouth. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you're reffing in a goddamn hog pen. You show some respect and you show some professionalism.
Amen to that.
And the chant got going around for a little while. Tuck in that shirt. Tuck in your shirt.
Lose the ball cap.
Lose the ball cap. Take the dip out. My thing was, if you didn't have a dip in your mouth or what, but it just looked sloppy.
Yeah.
He looked like he was a last minute, hey, my buddy or the cousin of somebody that knew somebody that wanted to be a ref for the night. And it actually, to me, took away from what was the match of the night.
Yeah, it did, because it was a distraction. It took the attention off of the talent.
Because there was times where he was in the way.
He was out of position a couple times, that's true.
Like when they were trying to go for a move and they couldn't do their move because he was there staring off into whatever.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was one of those moments where they didn't have enough refs.
I mean, I'm all about, I am a ball cap wearing fool.
True.
I wear a hat all the time. But there are times that it is not appropriate to wear a hat. And one is when you're reffing a blasted wrestling match in the middle of the ring in front of a almost, I would say almost, if not sold out crowd.
Oh,
at
yeah,
the Waynesboro
it was packed. It was packed.
At the
Definitely a good
Waynesboro. And so, you know, if you listen to this, Ward, if you listen to this AWE, anybody, next time, take the hat off.
Yeah. And tuck in the
Show
damn
some
shirt.
respect.
Yeah.
I mean, every other ref on the show
Professional.
was professional. Well, without, I mean, maybe the one at a Hornswoggles match, but that guy didn't wrestle another one either. But
at least he had the shirt tucked in.
he had the shirt tucked in. He did the part. But the other two guys, highly professional.
Oh, yeah. Chris Sharp did a great job.
You know, so I was very, very impressed. Good job, Ward. Good job.
Yeah, solid show for AWE. You can follow AWE on Twitter at the AWE Wrestling. You can follow them on Facebook. I think it's Official AWE. And Awesome Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook. OfficialAWE.com is their website. Their next event is October 14th.
With the headliners of
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Regan. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Awesome. I cannot wait. I want to meet him one day.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Then you have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And you have Road Warrior Animal.
Road Warrior Animal, who had a banner hanging
Just
in the ring.
Banner, yeah.
It was like they called him and said, hey, can we have a banner to tease that you're coming?
Yeah, right.
And then the creme de la creme. The one you've all been waiting for.
You're holding your breath right now, aren't you?
The one that you're going to pluck down your $20 to see.
Kendall Windham.
The other Wyndham.
Hey, he was one of the West Texas Rednecks.
I don't give him I give him grief just because they announced it like, we've got this person coming. It's going to be amazing. It's a legend. It's Gilbert. You know, like. Doug
Ward tried to sell it, right? He's like, it's the brother of Barry Windham. I mean, he's just throwing it out there, and as soon as people hear brother of, they're like, oh, okay. Even though Kendall Windham, in his own right, talented performer.
It's like the other Beetle.
So we'll close it up. Rob says a C. I say B-. Match of the night, I think we'd agree, was the Ugly Ducklings versus Phil Brown and Timmy Lou Retton. Great night, great time.
And the most important question is, Stan, if given the chance, would you go again?
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun. And, hey, you know what? It's like I said, I only know what rumors are. Don't know the truth behind any of it. So, for the record, I had a great time.
I had a great time. It was the only thing missing was Brian.
Brian, yeah. We missed you, buddy. You gotta be there next time.
In honor of Brian, in memory of Brian, we did eat a cookout on the way home.
We did. And let me tell you, the bacon wrap was phenomenal.
And this chocolate shake sitting here that's now Jell-O because it's been sitting in my car for 45 minutes.
Hey, but that means you can at least drink it because, those things are damn thick.
Whoop, whoop. $1 bill, y'all. $1 bill. Oh, I'm sorry.
Brian can be found on Twitter at STRCP21. He's on Facebook at Brian Taylor, so catch him up.
He's on Twitter as
Professor Dick Wade. Rob, where do they catch up with you, sir?
Rob Hefner. I'm Real Original. Rob Hefner on Facebook. At Rob Hefner C2C on the Twitter.
And I can be found at Stan from Krypton. The show can be C2C
God, you
Radio
need to
Show.
short that.
I will eventually. Corner to corner.
Stan from this corner of the world. And blah, 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 blah.
Corner to corner on Instagram. cornertocornerwrestling.com. cornertocornerradio@gmail.com. And folks, thanks so much for your time. And we will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.